The triple heater meridian of hand Shaoyang. The triple heater meridian starts from the lateral side of the fourth fingertip and then up the foreleg, then to the shoulder and to the neck. Then it goes to the ear and ends at the end of the eyebrow. The key acupoints are TE1, the first acupoint, TE4 on the wrist, TE10 on the elbow, TE14 on the shoulder joint, TE23, the very last acupoint. We'll start from the fourth finger. On the fourth finger on the lateral side at the base of the nail, there is TE1. Then you go up along the fourth finger and you'll bump into the metacarpal phalangeal joint. Distal to the joint, there is TE2. And proximal to the joint, there is TE3. Then you go further up along the fourth finger and then you have T4 on the wrist. The triple heater meridian starts from the lateral end of the fourth finger. This is TE1. You start from here and you go up along the lateral side of the fourth finger. And then distal to the metacarpal phalangeal joint, you have T2. Then you go up a little and proximal to the metacarpal phalangeal joint, you have TE3. On the fourth fingertip on the lateral side at the base of the nail, there is TE1. Then you go up along the fourth finger to the metacarpal phalangeal joint. When you bend the finger a little bit, you have each acupoint distal and proximal to the metacarpal phalangeal joint. Distal to the joint is TE2. Right above that, proximal to the metacarpal phalangeal joint is T3. Next, on the carpal joint, there's TE4. TE4 is the midpoint on the wrist. It is in the center of the carpal joint. There is a tendon attached to the extensor digitorum muscle that stretches towards the fifth finger. On the medial side of the tendon, in the depression, you have TE4. On the wrist, there was TE4. On the elbow, there's TE10. TE10 and TE4 are the landmarks, so we'll connect them and draw a line and locate other points on the line. TE10 is on the elbow. Above the olecranon, there's a depression. T10 is in the depression above the olecranon. On the TE10 TE4 line, 1/6 from TE4, there's TE5. TE5 is in between the radius and ulna. And on the TE10, TE4 line, 1/4 from TE4, there's T6. And 0.5 sun caudal to TE6, there is TE7. And on the T10, T4 line, 1/3 from T4, there's TE8. And the last is TE9. On the line, TE10, TE4 line, 3/5 from TE4, there's TE9. Up until now is all the acupoints up to the elbow line. TE4 is at the carpal joint and is at the midpoint of this joint. Here, there's a tendon called extensor digitorum muscle tendon. And medial to this tendon, we have T4. And then we look for the other landmark, T10, on the elbow joint. T10 is in the depression above the olecranon, the very top of the ulna. And then we draw a line connecting T10 and T4. On the T10, T4 line, 1/6 from TE4, in between the radius and ulna, there's T5. And on the T10, T4 line, 1/4 from T4, there's T6. And 0.5 sun caudal to T6, there is TE7. And on the TE10, TE4 line, 1/3 from TE4, there's TE8. On the T10, TE4 line, 3/5 from TE4, there's TE9. Up until now is all the acupoints up to the elbow line. Let's find TE4. TE4 is at the carpal joint on the dorsal side, right in the middle, and medial to the extensor digitorum muscle tendon. Here's TE4. And TE10 is in the depression above the olecranon, the very top of the ulna. There are several acupoints on the TE10, TE4 line. On the T10, TE4 line, 1/6 from TE4, in between the radius and ulna, there is TE5. And on the TE10, TE4 line, 1/4 from TE4, there's T6. And 0.5 sun caudal to T6, there is T7. TE10, TE4 line. On this line, 1/3 from TE4, there's TE8. On the TE10, TE4 line, 3/5 from TE4, there's TE9. These are all the acupoints up to the elbow line. Next, we'll go from elbow and up. Let's learn TE13, TE14, TE17, TE21, and TE23. There was TE10 at the elbow, and we go up to the humerus at the caudal side, and then reach TE14 caudal to the acromion. And then we'll draw a line connecting the acromion and TE10. And 1/3 from the acromion, there's TE13. After passing the shoulder joint, it goes up to the neck and then below the ears where there's TE17. TE17 is in a depression between the mandible and the mastoid process. Then it goes to the ear and goes back to the ear pinna, and then it comes back to the front again and reaches TE21, where it is in front of the tragus notch. And it ends at the lateral end of the eyebrow, where it is called TE23. On the shoulder joint, there's the acromion. And caudal to the acromion, there is TE14. And then we'll draw a line connecting TE10 and the acromion. And 1/3 from the acromion, there's TE13. And then it goes up to the neck on the side and reaches TE17. TE17 is in the depression between the mandible and the mastoid process. Then it goes to the back of the ear, to the ear pinna, and then it turns around and comes back to the front again. And in front of the tragus notch, there is TE21. The very last acupoint is above the outer canthus, that is called TE23. Let's find the shoulder joint and the acromion. Acromion is the spine of the scapula that is running in the middle of the scapula. Caudal to this acromion, in the depression, there is TE14. Then you connect the acromion and TE10. On the acromion TE10 line, 1/3 from the acromion, there is TE13. And then it goes to the neck and up. And TE17 is between the mastoid process and the mandible. It is in the depression at the base of the ear pinna. Then it goes to the back of the ear pinna, and then it comes to the front of the ear where the tragus notch is. Here is T21. And the very last acupoint is above the outer Kansas called TE23.